My so-called life is sponsored by Hello, and welcome to my so-called life. My name is William, and I'm going to show you everything I've made this week. Well, I'm also going to talk about one of the most hated sewing machines that I've ever come across. I've seen hundreds of videos about the Singer heavy-duty sewing machine, and I'm going to give you my opinion. Also, I'm going to show you everything that I've made in the past couple of days. But before we get to any of that, I think that it's important to take a step back and remember the most hated sewing machine of all time. Before there was the Singer Heavy Duty, there was...
Get the most fun out of life, out of being a mother and wife. With new fashion, excitement, that's all created by you. On your new Touch and Sew
Sewing machine by Singer.
Touch and Sew.
Another first from Singer.
Be the girl with the golden touch on your new Singer Golden Touch and Sew machine. Dozens of exclusive features, like this new built-in needle threader for the golden slant needle and the push-button bobbin that winds right in the machine. What a wonderful new feeling. You can do all three kinds of sewing: straight, zigzag, and chain stitch.
Touch and Sew, the push-button bobbin way.
Come sew on one at your Singer Center. Choose from 5 Touch and Sew models from $149.95.
What's new for tomorrow
Is at Singer today.
the Singer Touch and Sew. As the president of the Singer Touch and Sew Preservation Society, it's almost my obligation to let everybody know that there was a sewing machine that existed before the Singer Heavy Duty. All right, it is hot in here. So I have seen hundreds of videos about the Singer Heavy Duty sewing machine. A lot of people are completely and utterly unimpressed with how much power it doesn't have. But I think sometimes we need to take a step back and look at the history of Singer. In 1965, the Dodgers won the World Series, and Singer invented the Touch and Sew. The Touch and Sew was the most overambitious sewing machine that was ever invented. It had a self-winding bobbin. The thing would stand up and walk around the room. It would drive you to church on the weekends. The machine was out of control. And eventually, over time, it was discarded because it was too much work. As a sewing machine collector, I couldn't believe how many touch and sews were out there in the market. And that's always a sign that sewing machine is completely hated, disregarded, and exiled. I have been sewing for quite a while. I go to every thrift store, antique shop, charity shop, flea market, garage sale that you could think of. And I have only seen one Singer Heavy Duty at the Goodwill, which actually is this machine. This machine was probably a Christmas gift or given to somebody who wanted to learn how to sew. And I could tell that it was immediately rejected because all the original, everything that came with the machine was in here. I mean, the instruction manual, everything. The cord was brand new. This machine essentially was brand new. So I bought it not necessarily as a gag, but I was like, this thing isn't going to work anyways. And then I took it home. I oiled it. And it's a workhorse. Sometimes I think people see the words heavy duty and they expect this thing to be a Juki, which it is not. This is a Singer sewing machine. This is a domestic sewing machine that is made to be in your house, not in your factory. They labeled it heavy duty, but that's the last thing that it is. I've seen videos of people tearing these things apart, going out of their way, throwing them off cliffs, doing every kind of dramatic thing you could think of. But when I think of this sewing machine, I actually think it's an excellent machine, and it's something that you should add to your repertoire if you collect sewing machines. Like I said, it's not a heavy duty sewing machine, but it is perfect for quilting, making light garments, fixing things. I know we really don't darn socks anymore, but this machine is perfect for everyday use. Always remember to check things out for yourself. Use discretion, but always find out for yourself. So I'm finishing up a project that I started on a live stream yesterday, but I want to show you what I've been working on in the past couple of days because I've been busy. I just started sewing and sewing and sewing. So, if you've made it this far, I absolutely thank you. And like I always say, reinforce your seams, be yourself, and I will definitely see you next time.
With your feet on the air, your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it. Yeah. Your head will collapse.
I think I need to go to Pointers Anonymous. I think at this point, I should just walk around like this. I'm telling you, in my everyday life, I mind my own business. I get on camera, I start pointing like a car dealership. Good gravy.